Everybody, welcome back. We're going to be doing just a little bit to do with Hog, and then we're going to just kind of take a look at what we're going to be doing on Friday with our AMA. So let's just get started off with that. So Friday, we're going to be talking about just how to manage a large project like Hog. Okay, this is going to be one of the biggest things you've ever done. If you have no prior computer science experience, this is the biggest thing you've ever done. And so it's really important to make sure that we're doing it the right way. Okay, so we're going to take a look at it, how to work with partners, how to, approach problems, and really that's what computer science is. A game developer is really all about being able to solve problems. Okay, and that's being innovative and thinking about it, and me not just giving you code. That's you figuring out how do I, given a problem in English, use the stuff I know now to solve that. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to be doing is first taking us through problem 2, which is what your homework was. Let's just start with a quick refresher. Okay? So problem 2 is all about implementing the take turn function, which returns the number of points scored for a turn. Okay? So the nice thing about a function like this is that we can call it a bunch of times throughout the course of a game, okay? This is called functional abstraction, where we take pieces of code and put it in a function so that we can call it as many times as we need, okay? So the whole idea of this is we have a bunch of modules or parts, specific sections of the program that we're going to finish question by question. And by the end of it, by the time we've solved all the questions and filled in all the functions and modified all the modules, what you've done is basically created an entire game using little pieces. And so that's nice because it doesn't end up being like one 200 line piece of code. It ends up being something that you can look at that exists on its own and is really easy to understand. Okay, so I know that this function takes a turn. It takes in numerals, which is the number of dice rolls that will be made. It takes in an opponent's score, which is obviously like my opponent's score, and it takes in dice, which is a function that I can call that can be used to simulate a fair dice, which is just a dice that returns anything between 0 and 6. So in that way, making little modules and things like that make our program really easy to manage and really easy to understand, and we just pull that all together at the very end. And so I've already done that for you. What you guys will be doing are the questions. Okay, so let's just understand what problem 2 is asking us to do. Okay, so what is free bacon? Well, free bacon is this idea that you can roll 0 dice. Okay, and so if you haven't looked at yet how to play Hog or what rolling 0 dice means, or even what Hog is, I recommend you look at on Piazza. There's a whole video on John Nero explaining how to play Hog and whatnot, and we did all that in class. Okay, so this shouldn't be a thing. But if you don't understand that, go back. Feel free to take a walk back and make sure you understand all this. Okay, so free bacon is this idea that you can roll 0 dice, and that your the score that you can add to your own score is gonna be the absolute difference of the digits in your opponent's score. So what does that mean? Well, like, let me give you some examples. Okay, so some examples. So if my opponent's score is 97, well, the absolute difference, which you can compute via this, abs is just absolute value, because abs of 9 minus 7 is the same as abs of 7 minus 9. And then you do that, right? And you add 1 to it. Oh, sorry, plus 1. And so if my opponent had 97, how many points should I get from that? From rolling 0? It's 9 minus 7 plus 1. So that's 3. What if he has 90? Well, it's 9 minus 0 plus 1, which is 10. So this is the best score you can get from rolling 0. And this is important, right? This is important because, because it shows that you can maybe, win the game outright without having to roll a dice and potentially getting a 1. And it's very powerful, and you just got to trust me on that. And you'll see how it's powerful when you guys start making strategies on Saturday. Okay, so that's what free bacon is. Okay, and what is this telling us to do? Well, we need to implement free bacon in this function. Okay, so what does that mean? We need to basically check if you want to do free bacon, which is when num rolls is 0. Okay, I need to do something, so I need to get the 2 digits. I need to get the first digit, and your job is to replace something here. I need to get the second digit, and your job is to replace something here. And I already showed you how to get the digits of a number using the modulus and divide operators. Oops. So I recommend, if you don't know what I'm talking about right now, you take a look at, just figure out how to use those operators to get and 10 can all be used. All be used to get the digits of a number. I'm sorry, guys. Alright, so that's your job. And then you want to find the absolute difference between the first digit and the second digit. And basically, this is a fun way of doing it. You can use that abs function. Abs function is cool. And then you want to return it, because that's how many points you're going to get. So what this function is doing is returning the number of points you get. Okay? And this is also the other part. You want to return something, okay? And you want to use the function from above, okay? So this function that we all did together, it calculates your score by rolling a dice, num rolls times. So basically, if you roll 5 dice, it'll roll 1 dice 5 times. And we all did that together. Make sure you understand this. And it returns the score you're going to get. So a 1 if you rolled a 1, or the sum of your rolls if you didn't roll a 1 ever. Okay? So I want to return something using this function. Okay? So your job is to figure out what that is. Okay? So at this moment, we've just figured out, how to approach this problem. Okay? And your job is to, if you haven't done any work on it since last Saturday, okay, your job is to take a look at this in Sublime or online or whatever, okay, and see if you can do it. Just try and get started, okay? Even if you don't know what to get started, write random things that sort of make sense and sort of approach this problem, okay? Pseudocode, that kind of thing, okay? So, let's see, what do we want to do now? Okay. Right now, before we write any code, we need to unlock the test to verify our understanding of the question. So I'm just going to do that, and we're going to look at how I unlock a test. Okay, so this is my git bash. Okay, I'm going to ls. You guys can do that at home, but not on your computers at the thing. Okay, so at the high school. Okay, so I'm going to cd into downloads, because that's where I'm keeping it. ls. I know it's in Hog, which is right here. And you guys will be able to see all the stuff in your downloads file. But yeah, so I'm going to cd into Hog, check what's in there. Okay, so now I'm into Hog, and I know all these things are there. And I'm finally seeing OK, which is what I need to get to. Okay, so I'm going to run Python 3 on OK minus Q, O2 minus U, and minus local, because we don't want to use the emails. Okay, so we want to take turn 2. What is 2? Well, let's look at this. Okay, 2 is the number of rolls. My opponent scores 0, and we're going to make test dice of 4, 6, 1. What should it return? Well, I'm rolling 2 dice, right? during this turn, and this is my test dice. So what are the first two rolls going to be? 4 and 6. Okay? What is the sum of those rolls? 10. Yep, looks good. Okay, now I'm going to take turn. I'm rolling 3 dice on this test dice. 4, 6, 1. What is the first 3 rolls going to be? 4 plus 6 plus 1. But, oh wait, there's a 1, so I'm just going to return 1. Okay, what happens when I roll 0 dice? Take a look at this second question. I just had to restart really quickly because I've been teaching you guys the wrong free bacon, and I'm really sorry for that. It's just this is a newer version of Hog than the one that I implemented and played and taught. So this actually ends up being easier. It's easier for you guys, and for that reason, I'm not going to pseudocode it. It's very similar, but the difference is that you have to, in this problem, free bacon is getting the, where is it? Let's see. Free bacon is getting one more than the largest digit in the opponent's score. Okay? Not the difference in the two scores. So that's really easy actually, right? Let's look at this case, right? So take turn when I roll 0 and 35. What's the largest digit? A 5. And what's one more than it? 6. Okay. What about this one? What's our largest digit? 7. What's 1 plus 7? 8. What about here? Same thing. 7 is our biggest digit. What about here? When we have 0, what's our biggest digit? 0. So 1. And that unlocks all the things. You've shown that you understand what this is supposed to be doing. Okay? So let's re-pseudocode this. Re-pseudocode this. Okay? So I still need to it's really simple now. Okay? I still need to, parse the digits. I need to get the digits out of the number. Something. Okay? I need to get the digits out of the number. So what am I doing here? Get the digits out of the number. And we can delete this. We can delete that. Using this stuff. Okay, so we're going to get the digits using these stuff down below. Okay, and then what am I going to do? I want to return the biggest one plus 1, which is very simple. Okay, this is very simple for you guys to do. I believe you can all do this. Okay, this is not hard. If you don't know where to start, I want you to post your code on Piazza and ask me, how do I start? Okay, if you don't do that, I expect you fully to have this done when I come in. Okay, this part. All right, so let's talk about free bacon. Okay, so what is free bacon? Well, free bacon is this idea that you do all this, right? But that's only one part of this function, take turn. The other part is that it's supposed to return or call roll dice, okay? And so here's what happens if I roll 0 dice. Okay, if I roll 0 dice, I need to go in here. But if I'm rolling more than 0 dice, if I'm rolling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, or even 10 dice, right? If I roll any more than 0 dice, well, I already have code that figures out what the result is of me rolling that many dice. Because this is what all this does, okay? We know now that this function simulates rolling num_rolls number of dice. Okay, if that doesn't make sense, you can literally replace num_rolls with x. Rolling x number of dice. X number of dice. Okay, so whether that be like 4 dice, or like 6 dice, or whatever. That's what it simulates, and then it returns a score that you get if you don't roll a 1. Okay. How does it do that with the dice function? We already looked at all this. Pause if you don't understand this. Look at these comments, these fantastic comments. Or post a question on Piazza, okay? So I need to, it says call roll dice from this function, okay? So what's a function call? Well, it looks like this. Roll dice. It looks like that, okay? But this isn't gonna work. Why is it not gonna work? Well, it needs a num rolls and a dice, okay? And your job is to figure out basically, where do I get these things? Well, if you look at this function, you see that you have a num rolls coming in, an opponent score, and a dice. This opponent score is really only important for when you roll 0. And num rolls is important for if you roll, it determines if you go in the if or the else, basically. Okay? This dice, though, isn't really important in this function, but we can pass it to roll dice. Okay, so I'm going to call roll dice from this function. Okay, num rolls is just going to go in. Opponent score, don't need that, and then dice. All right, and what I'm going to do is I need to save this somewhere. So my result. So my result is all that happens if I roll this many dice. Okay, num rolls, number of dice. And then I want to return it. Okay, simple enough. We already have code that figures out, if I want to roll more than 0 dice. Okay, and that's what I've determined here. I want to roll more than 0 dice because I went inside this else. So I should call this function. And that's how you do that. Okay, so just some simple, tricks to get up to speed on how to approach these kinds of problems, okay? It's not hard. We just did a little bit of math. We understood what we were doing by using git bash, or in my case, my terminal, to unlock all these cases. So I understand what take turn is doing, and it honestly got even easier because you just need to, all you need to do is find the biggest of the digits. You don't even need to find the absolute difference. You just need to find the biggest one and add 1 to it. That's all you need to do down here. And I'll show you guys how to do that on Friday. Okay, so thanks for watching, and see you next time.